We measure success by material or by what others look like they've accomplished, but we have no idea what they're going through. We're competing with people at work. We're competing with family members. Competition brings on resentment and jealousy and all these things.
Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Welcome back, friend. I have a new best friend with me today, and her name is Denise. And, we've been chatting, and sometimes I have all these goals, all these things. I got to do the dishes. I got to do this. I got to go to work. I got to make sure I get the presentation done. I got to make sure that I did X, Y, Z, and all these other things. And I get so many things on my plate, all these goals and tasks and stuff that I need to do, that I run out of time. I don't have the time. So am I setting the right goals? Am I focusing on those things that are going to help me thrive through life? And so Denise is our expert in setting the right goals. And Denise, help my friend and I really tune into our needs and set those right goals. Help me.
Oh my gosh, Laura, so many people go through life with no goals at all or the wrong goals. And that's what I specialize in because, we need to find passion in life. We need to define what it is that we really want, whether it's in 6 months or 6 years. Sometimes we don't know how long it will take um, to to reach our goals, but we're always aiming for something that's easy most of the time. However, those easy goals are the ones that put the most stress on us because there's nothing exciting that comes from it, right? It's like, oh, I have this project, there's a timeline, those are goals, but they're not for us. And they're stressful. They're stressful because there's a timeline for everything. So there's no break. And we're going through life like this. A lot of people are going through life um, at a level of unconsciously. They're competent, they're successful, but they're unconscious in the sense of they really don't have time to reflect on how they made it to where they're at today. They get lost. And if we were to say, well, how did you make it here? Or where do you want to go? Most people wouldn't be able to tell you what they've attained or done in their entire life to reach their level at a certain point. So with a higher sense of awareness, we can reach different heights. We reach different sections or different goals in life that are passionately interesting for us. It's a deep desire. And we want to go through life with a higher sense of awareness so that we can reproduce what we've done before or fine tune them and then get closer to our goals.
We've been using the right goals and the wrong goals. And who's to say whether it's right or wrong? What makes that definition of, is it a goal that I had that's not supporting who I want to be? Is that a right wrong? Is it a goal that doesn't support my career ideas or where I want to go? What makes them right or wrong?
Well, I'll explain first. Well, I'll go into the different types of goals, but the type of goal we want to reach is something it's something that we've talked ourselves out of our entire life. You know how when we're kids, we dream of something, or people will ask us, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we accept that. We let the child dream. But at some point in life, we tell them to stop dreaming, or do you have plan B in case plan A doesn't work out? So, we first need to understand the types of goals. However, the type of goal that I want people to reach are the goals that are game changers, something that's going to bring a positive change in your life. Right now, everywhere as we look, there's people talking about game changing, game changing, game changing. It's a big word. What will it change for you? But it also should be refreshing. It should be something that you say, you know what, I can put the past behind me and I'm looking at new ways, new habits, new awareness level, new everything. It's just refreshing. It's like, For me, it's like thinking that I've got my feet in the sand and a drink in my hand. It's that kind of a refreshing feeling, right? And then you got to think about, okay, well, what kind of opportunities will that open up for me? Where, what's the possibilities? Where can I go with this? What's new? And because, if we keep the same habits all the time, we're never going to open new doors. So that's also important. We have to be able to visualize, where do we want to go? Then you got to have a feeling of thriving. You know, is it a thriving feeling for me that I feel like I've achieved something that's successful? If we're not aiming for these kinds of goals, we're not going anywheres, right? And you have to have a level of willingness. And when I say willingness, it's no matter the noise around us, no matter what people say, no matter about the naysayers, that we are so dedicated no matter how long it's going to take. Of course, we're going to have days where we're not feeling good or we are, not at our best, but we know that that's going to come around the following day. And that will determine our level of willingness. If there's no level of willingness, we fall back into our comfort zone. But the most important as well is it has to be harmonious with our values and our beliefs in life. What we strongly hold on to. If we are passionate people, well, is it a passionate goal? If we want to do acts of kindness, does that answer our goals? Does it answer our desire for traveling or whatever desire? It's got to be harmonious with what we believe in. So, do you want me to proceed with the
Well,
different types of goals?
yeah, let's do that.
All
That'd be
right.
great.
Yeah, this is the exciting part. So, there's three types, and I was fortunate enough to be mentored by the guru of all gurus of personal development, Bob Proctor. I don't know if you know Bob Proctor, but he's an amazing mentor. He's passed away now a couple years ago, and he always taught me the ABCs of goal setting. Now, what I've done over the years, because I teach this, I've put my own twist to it. So let's say the A goal would be your attainable type of goal. So that's the most of the population. We aim for something that's attainable. It's so easy. We know how to accomplish it. So let's say that, Laura, you want to read 12 books in 1 year. Okay. Well, when you think about it, it's an attainable goal. It's a book per month. Now, somebody would say, well, it depends on how thick the book is, depending on if you're an avid reader or not. But it is an easy goal. Just like, and I'm only giving you examples of maybe losing 5 pounds in 3 months. It's not a 50-pound goal. It's a 5-pound goal. And it's easy. It's attainable because we know that we need to adjust something in our life to attain that. We need to take time to read a book, or we need to take time to go on a diet or exercise. So that's the kind of goal that doesn't really get us out of our comfort zone. It's too easy. And what's fun about going through life if there's nothing that pushes us out of our comfort zone? Because life, excitement, desires only come on the other side of our comfort zone. Okay?
Hmm.
So that's your attainable goal. Then we look at the B type goal, which is your believable goal. This is the type of goal that you still know how to reach for it. It's still something that is exciting. However, the sacrifices that come along with it are sometimes not worth it for you. So I'll give you a couple of examples. A believable goal could be that instead of reading 12 books, you may want to write your own novel. Now, in order to write your novel, there needs to be a level of dedication. That means, because I've written a book and I know that it's so many hours every day, and you really have to be dedicated and you got to revise and revise. But then all of a sudden, the kids come along, they have homework to do, you've got obligations on the outside, you're tired from your day at work, and all of a sudden, spending time to write a book is just too exhausting. So you think, well, it would be nice, but I'm not willing to go through the sacrifices. Okay. It would be the same as saying, I want to run a marathon in a year from now. Okay. So we went from losing 5 pounds to now we're like a little bit more out of our comfort zone. I want to go run a marathon. The thing is, that in order to run a marathon, you really need to practice, you need to go run, you need to make sure that you're in good physical health. The problem with this type of goal is that often the weather's not nice outside. So, it might be raining really heavy and you're thinking, I'm not going out there today to jog, to run my marathon. So I'm just going to stay home. I'll get at it again tomorrow. And then tomorrow something else comes in. So it's that kind of goal that I know I could attain it, but I'm not really willing to sacrifice. It's like saying, I'm going to save money to do renovations in my house, but I need to stop going to the movies as often as I do or go out for supper. But then, Laura, you're calling me and saying, Denise, let's go out for supper tonight and then let's go do a movie afterwards. And I know deep down inside, I really shouldn't because told my husband that I was going to save money and we were going to cut back. But I haven't seen you for so long, Laura, that I really want to go out for supper with you. And that
Let's do it.
movie, yeah, that movie. So then all of a sudden, it's just like you're talking yourself out of it and you go back to your comfort zone because, first of all, the house you're living in now is just as comfortable. You're in your comfort zone. You don't really need the renos. You're just talking yourself into it, but you're not willing to do the sacrifice. I hope this is making sense.
It does.
Excellent. So here's the exciting goal that we really want. It's the C-type goal, which I call the courageous goal. This is the goal that in order to achieve it, you would have to be very creative and innovative. It's something that you think to yourself, there's no way. I'm sure you've heard the expression, yeah, right, when pigs fly. Have you ever heard that, Laura?
Oh, absolutely. I've
Right?
said it.
There you go, because we know that pigs don't fly. So for us, it seems impossible. And why does it seem impossible? Let's say I want to go to Florida for 2 months at a time every year. Well, it's impossible or it feels impossible. It's something I dream about, but I think to myself, I can't afford it or I can't get enough time off from work to attain that. Right. So we talk ourselves out of it. And we've probably been doing that our entire life since we were kids. Now, at some point, we will share it, especially in school when we go to school, right? The teacher will say, stop dreaming, Denise, pay attention. And then if I say, well, when I get older, I want to do this, I want to travel. And somebody will say, yeah, right, you're stupid, right? We're thinking about kids, right? It's the bullying, it's all of that. So then as adults, we grow up thinking, if I share my thoughts, if I share my dreams, I'm going to get laughed at or judged or ridiculed. So we keep it inside and we don't allow ourselves to dream or want anything for ourselves because we don't feel that we deserve it. But in fact, it's been something that you've dreamt out of your entire life. But it's just that you don't have the money yet. You don't have the time yet. You don't have the education. Guess what? To have a courageous goal, you will find if you are passionate enough about it and determined, you will find ways to create more money your way, to create time for yourself. It kind of happens on its own when you learn the art of visualizing and believing and being a magnet or acting like a magnet that you attract all good things to you or all the great people in your life and things like that. So I'll give you a few examples. So let's say you really would love to have a house on the water, a waterfront property. We all know that that's very expensive. Earlier, we were talking about doing renovations in the house, but now we're like, oh, wouldn't it be serene? Wouldn't it be relaxing to just live on the water? I don't need a big mansion. I just want that piece of land, but they're so expensive. Well, guess what? If it's a real big desire for you, you will figure out the creativity behind it to make it happen. Okay. Now, let's say it is that you want to qualify for the Olympics. Earlier, we were talking about running a marathon, but let's say somebody may have a desire to qualify for the Olympics. We all watch the Olympics and we're always amazed by these people, the dedication behind it. Here's the thing, when it's minus whatever, okay, depending on where you live, or there's 30 millimeters of rain coming down, a person that's looking to qualify for the Olympics will still go out and train. They will not stop and go back to their comfort zone because they know that they got to go through these hard times. And no matter the weather, no matter the condition, they are so determined, not even knowing if they will qualify for it or not, but it's something they're going after. And that's the important thing. It's a desire that will get you out of your comfort zone. It's something that gets you out of bed in the morning. An A type goal, which is attainable, a believable goal, which is attainable but comes with sacrifices that you're not willing, does not get you excited to get out of bed in the morning to go to work, right? That C type goal, the when pigs fly goal, the courageous goal, that's what puts fire in our gut. This is what gets us excited. And even if we have all this pressure every day, we still know that it's our journey. Where every step we make, we are going towards our big goal. We look at things differently. I would look at going to my office job, the corporate job, maybe in a different way and saying, okay, well, that's my vehicle to my goal. That's the type of goal. So when you get that passion, that desire that you really want, and say, one day I'm going to retire by the water, or one day I'm going to retire and travel the world on a cruise, or whatever you're passionate about. A lot of people chase money, right? We're saying, well, if only I had more money, I would do this. But how much money are we talking about? If I give you an extra $5, are you happy? Because you never defined what you wanted for when you said extra money. Extra money buys you things. It gives you freedom. It doesn't have to be materialistic, what your goal is. But we know that to achieve something that's bigger than we ever thought, money will have to come from somewheres. So I strongly recommend that we look at things and say, it's not the exact amount of money, it's what that would bring me or allow me to do. When people say, I want freedom, what does that look like to you? You know, or I want more money. Okay, well, if you want more money, what is it that you want to do with it? Why do people buy lottery tickets, right? If they buy lottery tickets, they must have a plan in their head of what they want to do with that money if they ever won. Now, buying a lottery ticket is not a courageous goal. There's nothing you can control about winning the lottery. The only thing you can control is getting into your car, going to the store and buying the lottery ticket. So it's not about that. It's about what would it get you? What is it that you really want? You visualize yourself. When you're driving in your car, you're going from, point A to point B, you get to your destination and you go, oh my God, I don't even remember the drive. Well, this is how we go through life. We go through life in la la land all the time. But guess what? You must have been visualizing something while you were driving that car. You were probably daydreaming of having your feet in the sand and a drink in your hand. Why are we so embarrassed to share that with people, right? Or keep it to yourself, but dream it, allow it to come. That's the whole thing. We're not passionate enough anymore. We're missing that.
You really talk, my head's going cling, 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 thinking of all these things. And you're talking about travel and the things we want to do, and started thinking about some of the things that I had set as goals. And then that thought process that I do that tucks me out of them.
Right.
So, what I wanted to do is take a quick break, get a word from our sponsor, and come back and let's talk about how we quit talking ourselves out of those really cool pig fly goals. So, we'll be right back.
Excellent. All right.
Hey, since I rarely have openings in my coaching schedule, I have a new resource out there on my website. It is called the BFF Coaching Network. And I have offered a spot there for any coach that has been on the show to list the coaching. You can go out there, you can listen to their episodes, you can feel a little bit about them, and then choose a coach that will work for you. So LauraJaneLayton.com, the BFF Coaching Network. All right, so Denise.
Yes.
I have this goal of buying an RV and traveling around, just enjoying the country when my husband finally retires. And then I think, there's a lot of times we fight in the car because we drive different. That would be a really dumb thing to do. And I'm going to miss room service if I do that. I'll always be cooking. but it just feels, I have this vision in my head of the freedom of being able to pee driving down the road and being able to take your dog everywhere and not having to leave him behind. And then I start thinking again about all the reasons why not to do it.
Yeah.
And so, how do I say, what is it? What am I really looking for? I'm looking for enjoying the country. And there's 1,000 ways to do that. Do I need to set a real goal or quit telling myself it won't work?
Well, I think most of us try to talk ourselves out of it. Like I said, we all go back to our comfort zone because we've been told to stop dreaming for so long that we forget how or we're embarrassed when we do so. The
Mhm.
thing is it's not important to share your goal with anybody else because we know that there's naysayers out there. So maybe it's best to just keep it to yourself, but keep visualizing what that would look like when you're in your RV and traveling and just as if you're already there. Okay. So there's internal dialogue that takes place in life, and we are not aware of how we talk to ourselves. We are self sabotaging ourselves and we don't even realize it, right? So, constantly saying, I can't afford that or that will never happen. We're so caught up in the immediate satisfaction that when we don't see results right away, we think, that's never going to happen. So there's so many things. It's watching our internal dialogue. And instead of getting caught up in the I can't afford it, maybe switch that to, I deserve it. Okay. It's just on how it's turning a negative affirmation into a positive affirmation. Everybody's heard about affirmations. Everybody understands this, but are we really practicing it? I am telling you that this is a daily practice for me. I have no choice. I mean, this is how it's a lifetime journey that we are on. So, internal dialogue is crucial on what we tell ourselves and blocking the noise from outside world. So think about this. You get up in the morning, you've got kids that are running around, they've heard things from their friends, your husband has an opinion about something, you get in your car, you hear the news, there's all kinds of negativity. You get to work and it's all about everybody's opinions. And we get to a point where we don't know what false news is anymore or the truth, okay? And we get influenced into thinking like other people. We are now at a point, if you really want to reach that courageous goal, that courageous when pigs fly goal, we have to start thinking for ourselves and not let the outside world control our thoughts. And, it's a hard thing because we're surrounded by it. But also, it's like, it's okay to be selfish. It's okay for mothers who have kids to dream. We don't allow ourselves sometimes to dream because we have to take care of the kids. And that's okay. Yes, you do have to take care of the kids. You still have to go work. The point is to not put a deadline on a courageous goal. So look at it this way. And I just had this experience recently that for me, calling it a dream or a goal, other people call it a vision. So if you're in a corporate world, think about the vision and mission statement that is on the wall at the office. If you read the vision, it does not have a deadline. It does not have a date of when certain things are going to be accomplished or what the business is trying to aim for. It's the same thing for our courageous goals. We should never put a date because we're setting ourselves up for failure right off the bat. Okay, so let's say I want to write my book before the end of December of 2025. So I've decided my courageous goal is that I want to write a book before the end of 2025. Where January, I go through life happens, right? We know life happens and it throws us all kinds of curveballs. I get into the month of November 2025, and I remember that I put myself a goal that I was going to have my book written by the end of December, but it's now November. And I start thinking to myself, yeah, there's no way I'm going to have time to write that book. So we give up. So we should never have dates. We don't know how long the journey is going to be. We have no idea what we're going to need to do or go through to achieve our goals. And that should be the exciting part. So there's so many little tips. Don't put your dates. But when I say the exciting part, the journey, We look at life as it's full of obstacles. Well, this is a sign. It should not happen. I shouldn't be going in that direction. I'm sure you've heard that. Oh, it's a sign. It's a sign. Just because things didn't go our way, or somebody passed away, or somebody lost a job, and we think, okay, well, that's the end of my goal. It's actually our journey. It's actually our journey to our goal, and we forget to appreciate it. And through our journey, if we could just pause and reflect and go, oh, wow, look at everything I've learned. Because we learn, we grow through difficult times. We don't learn and grow when things are easy. There's nothing to learn, right? So, in order to get to your courageous goal, remember I said you're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to think about different things. That means you're getting yourself out of your comfort zone. That means you're going to be learning a lot of things. That means it's going to feel like chaos for a bit. But that is your journey, my dear. That's the fun part. Obstacles can be changed into different things, like the way we think. Remember, I was talking about internal dialogue. Most people say, oh, it's a problem. I've got an obstacle. I got an issue. Look at it as a speed bump. When you're driving down the road and there's a speed bump in front of a school, for example, why is the speed bump there? It's there to slow us down for a reason. We got to look at our surrounding. We got to make sure everybody's safe, that we didn't run any kid over or any child over. So the speed bump is there for a reason. So maybe another tip to give to our friends is to say, a speed bump happens to slow us down for a reason, to make us reflect, are we going in the right direction or in the wrong direction? Should we veer off? Should we do a detour? And it's just to appreciate those moments. We go through life not appreciating our journey. And
Yes.
that's my tip. Be excited about the journey.
I love that point. I think it's really important that we enjoy the moment. And I know we hear about being present and all that stuff all the time, but it is right now that really counts. And
True.
am I happy today with what I have? And sure, I don't want to be the same tomorrow. I don't want to repeat. I don't want a Groundhog Day kind of experience where I get to redo the same day over and over. But I do want growth. I do want to move forward, but I want to love today because there's no guarantee on tomorrow. And so I love the idea of the baby goals, setting the steps in order for me to get this or have this dream trip. I first need to do this and this and this and accomplish them. Keep moving forward. If you decide, change your mind, change your goal. It's okay. It does, like I no longer want to roam the United States. I just want to stay in my home. That's, if that's really what you want, it's okay.
That's right.
It's like knowing what's going to serve you and your joy,
Yeah.
happiness.
I like what you just said, and that brought me to another thought is that we are in a place in our life where we're always competing.
Mhm.
We're always competing with the guy or the girl next door who's got the most money, who's got the biggest house, what their success looks like. And we measure success by material or by what others look like they've accomplished. But we have no idea what they're going through. We're competing with people at work. We're competing with family members. We hold grudges. Competition brings on resentment and jealousy and all these things. When we get into a competition mode, we don't even realize it, but it gets us off our goal. We get distracted and we don't know where we're headed anymore because we're too concentrated on what everybody else has, and we're comparing ourselves, which is unfortunate. If we can bring ourselves to saying, we're all on a different journey, it's not important for me to measure up to the others. I am on my own journey and I have to go do my own things. It's amazing. If we can just bring our mindset to a whole different level and not judge ourselves, and be happy with the moment. Too many people, you said it, you just want to make your own decisions. If you want to stay home, live the moment. But too many people are living in the past, right? Or worrying about the future. And that's where we get lost. We worry about the past because the past is the only place where we can connect the dots. We know what has happened in the past. So going forward, when we think about reaching a different goal, we go, oh, but 5 years ago, I made a decision and the results wasn't good. So now we think to ourselves, well, going forward, I can't make that same decision because you automatically put in your mind that you're going to get the same result, right? We're living in the past, or we're creating anxiety because we're worrying about the future. You can have big goals, enjoy the moment, not worrying about the future. Whatever comes will come. It could take you a month, it could take you a year, 10 years, 20 years to be to accomplish your goal. It's the journey. Once you get there, you'll go, wow, look at everything I've accomplished. Look at everything I've learned along the way. And your goal will just look like, okay, what's next? Right? We become stagnant. We become stagnant and we don't think bigger. We don't think about what's coming up. We're just comfortable, which is your survival mode. Let's thrive. Let's enjoy life to the fullest moment. Like, go for that meal, go for a movie, go for a drive, go do whatever, enjoy it. When we're in a lineup, remember, I'm sure you've had times where you go to the grocery store, you're in the lineup and it's not moving. And you're thinking, I got to go somewheres in 5 minutes. I'm going to be late. I'm sure you've gone through this, Laura.
Oh,
And it's taking a deep breath and saying, you know what? This is where I'm supposed to be right at this moment. I'm not meant to be somewheres in 5 minutes, right? I talk to myself like this all the time in order for me to be able to accept where I'm at in this moment,
right.
right?
I do the same thing. It's, I guess I'm supposed to not show up on time today because this is going on and this is going to be a fun experience.
Absolutely.
Whether, instead of fretting over it and then getting antsier and antsier and just going deeper and deeper into this hole of I'm not making it. And like, I'll just send a quick text, tell them I'm going to be late, and we're just going to go with it.
And life
Or
goes on.
or if it really is that critical, that can't be postponed, you set down your groceries and you come back later.
Yeah,
What is it that is the most important? And the cool thing is we choose.
that's
Nobody
right.
else has to tell us
That's
what
right.
or when or why to do anything. It's I get to choose. And I've chosen this job because it pays well. I've chosen this family because I wanted them and they're bringing lots of those happy memories to my life. It's what are the things that we can just be grateful for? And I think about, talking myself out of my own goals. At least I'm not letting it stress me like, oh, I don't have enough money yet in the account to make that purchase. And I don't need it today. It's a later. And when we can be okay with where we are today,
Yeah,
you're thriving.
that's right.
If
That's
you
right.
are worried about all the things that you don't have or you still need to get, you're surviving.
Yes.
And how do you change that switch? And it really is all the things you've talked about. Set the
Yeah,
right goal, set the one for you.
that's right. Don't worry about, yes, you have to raise the kids like we talked about. Yes, we have to do our day-to-day tasks. But it's okay to dream. It's okay to allow ourselves to just get lost in la la land and think of ourselves somewhere else and that it can happen. You know, you've heard the words what if. We're constantly, well, what if I had made a different decision? What if I did this? That's living in regret. But we can look at the words what if in a sense of excitement. What if it works out? What if I make this goal happen? Right? And it's possible. It's just that we always worry about how. How am I going to achieve this? That's the thing. The A goal that I talked about, the attainable goal and the believable goal, you know how. They don't get you out of your comfort zone. The courageous goal, you're not supposed to know how. The fun is in finding out the how. first you got to figure out what it is that you want. Then the how comes after the fact, right? But that's the goal. If it was so easy, you'd already have it.
Yeah, that's true. I would already have it.
So what do
But
you really want, Laura?
but what do I really want? You know what? I am very content. I'm not worried about things. I'm happy just the way it is. And um, as the choices we've made throughout our lives that put us there. And I
I
know
think
everybody can get there. It really is, for me, it was a slow process.
I think it comes with experience as well, and what we experience in life. For me, I know I've lived a different life. I've lived the big house and the big money. And then eventually, after the pandemic, I basically lost a lot of it and started from scratch. And you go through a motion of, was that really necessary? Was that big house? Because I wasn't happy. It was just the house? No, I don't need that anymore. Do I really need to go shopping every day? Do I really need all these items in my house that are just going to collect dust? I think we get into a place where we are, we look at success in a different manner. Now, the only thing I would suggest, Laura, is to be careful to say that you're content, because I'm sure you don't get up every day coming out of bed and saying, I want the same results over and over and over again. I'm sure that when you're driving in your car, you're still dreaming of something.
Oh, of course.
Right.
But that doesn't make you uncontent. That means I've got ideas for the future,
Right.
and I don't have to have them right now. I don't have to have them tomorrow, but
You're
I'm a
content with what
day
you have.
closer to it. And, every day that goes by, I'm a day closer. So, yeah, those things work. And so I agree with you. And I think the
Yeah.
contentment is I'm okay with what I have right now.
You're content with the journey. You're content with the fact that because we go through life with obstacles and challenges, things happen. I think it's either we look at it as a big thing or we just say it's part of the journey. I'm repeating myself, but I think it's important sometimes to repeat ourselves, right? To make
Yeah.
sure that the message is put out there that it's exciting. It's exciting to go through the journey, exciting to learn new things. Don't hit that terror barrier wall that I like to call it, which is the comfort zone. We talk ourselves into something exciting, and then that wall is right in front of us. And it's like, no, I don't want to go through it because I know it comes with change. And I know, but my gosh, that means we're always going to get the same results.
Yes. Change is good.
That's
Just
right.
sometimes if we resist it too much, it's pretty hard.
We make it hard for ourselves.
Yeah.
I think it's us that makes it hard for ourselves. And we also play the pity game. Have you ever noticed that?
I definitely have played that game more than once.
Yeah,
Oh
I think
no, I couldn't do it. I'm also feel bad for me.
that's right. Why is this happening to me? Why is it always me? Rather than looking at it and saying, okay, what do I need to learn from this? Right. And it's not it's not a pity game. It's more of an accountability game and moving forward, taking charge. You said it yourself, take action, you know. We all know it's like there's such a thing as the knowing and the doing gap. There's a big gap
Right.
between the two. And we know we need to do things differently, but we're not willing to do it. If we can just shorten that gap and say, okay, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah. Or I'm okay where I am. Like I don't need those things that um but let's pretend like it's college degree. I wanted a master's degree at one time in my life because that's what made you cool. Do I really need that? No, I'm okay with what I have. And so, who set the goal? Who told us it was cool? And is it really important for your real goals, for the things you really want? It wouldn't have made a difference in my career ever, And so, what are those things that are, I should do this because my mom and dad would be proud of me versus I'm proud of me because of these things I've accomplished?
That's right. That's right. It's funny you're talking about skills. I hope we still have time for finish our coffee. Um,
Yeah, I'm going to get a refill.
yeah, I was in a conversation not too long ago about explaining these goals that I'm talking about, and this probably woman around her 35, 40-ish looked at me and she says, "But I have a goal, but what happens if I don't have the skills?" And I said, "Well, what kind of skills are you talking about?" I said, "If you want to be a neurosurgeon, okay, we're talking about different skills. Yes, now you have to go get a profession. You really need to go get a degree. But aside from that, you don't need the skills. Who says what skills you're going to need to reach those goals? We don't know. It's the fun part."
Let's go as much as if you want an RV, you need to know how to drive. Well, do you? You can
That's
get a
right.
chauffeur.
That's
There
right.
are ways to get things. It reminds me of the Henry Ford when they were challenging him because he didn't have an education and he wasn't someone that was looked at as educated, and they were trying to just discredit him because he didn't know everything. And he's like, "You just ask me any question, and I can push one of these buttons and I can have the answer. I don't need to know it all." And so when we get to that skill level or that thing, is there a way around it?
Absolutely. That's the problem. We put everything as a hurdle. Everything is a big hurdle, only because we don't know how. But there is a way around everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an answer, there's a solution if we're just open. Most of the time they're right in front of us. The
Yes.
opportunities are right there in front of us and we're just completely blind. We don't even see them because we're not training ourselves to see them. A higher level of awareness means you're open to those opportunities. You want to see the opportunities. So, they're right in front of us most of the time.
I think this has been a enlightening conversation and very appropriate for all of us. I, Me, my dog, everybody. But it's the idea that what is it that will really keep me content,
Yeah,
which is for most of us growth,
yeah,
change, progress, and to quit measuring ourselves to everybody else. Oh, John Doe had a million of these by the time he was my age, so I'm not successful. That's not the measuring stick. Find your own measuring stick. And so
that's
I
right.
think the things that you've talked about really have given us that practical look on just really pushing into our future in a present kind of
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And being present is so critical. So, Denise, it's been great chatting with you, but let's share with our friend how to get a hold of you, what you do, even though the information's in the show notes, just so they can hear a little bit about it and then choose whether they want to go in. And then what is that one thing we can do right now to help set us into some of these challenging goals that are going to bring us joy?
I think it's just being grateful for what we have now. I mean, it's a fact. The more grateful you are, the more you're going to attract. It's not shaming ourselves for wanting an abundance of anything. Allow yourself, it's human instinct to want more. But just because you have a roof over your head doesn't mean that you can't desire a bigger house or a bigger whatever it is that you want. Don't shame yourself out of that. It's okay. It's human instinct to always want more. So, but be grateful for what you have. That's the start, right? So I do seminars helping people reach that or figure out what their passion is and their desire to find what they have been dreaming about all these years and just stop dreaming. I try to reignite that out of them. And so I do seminars like that. I do business advisory so that we can do the same thing for businesses that are trying to grow but have become stagnant. We know we've all had challenges. We know things are changing really fast right now. And sometimes we're so consumed that we can't see or anything clear anymore. We can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's happened to me, and I've promised myself that I would help as many people as possible to go through that with the skills and the tips that I've learned along the way. So if anybody wants to reach me, the best way is on social media. I'm on pretty much every platform. Just Denise Beaupré, my last name. I'll spell it out. Beaupre. So my first name, Denise Beaupré. And also, or you can email me, info@denisebeaupré.com, or my website, www.denisebeaupré.com. So that's the best way. But I
You've made
offer,
it so easy.
well, I hope so. Maybe I should repeat my last name again. Beaupre.
It looks simple.
Yeah, it does look simple. Exactly. Now, there was a hockey player with the last name Beaupré before. I don't know if he's still in hockey, but sometimes that's how people go, oh, now I know.
I've heard it, never looked
Yeah,
at it spelt.
exactly. Yeah,
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And friend, thanks for being here with us. It has been my pleasure. Denise and I are not medical or mental licensed professionals. We are just here for entertainment. People that want to help you make the best of your journey. So stay
that's
tuned
right.
for the next episode.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss a next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.